Back when I was about third grade, I got into a fight with my neighbor, who was also in third grade, or maybe fourth grade. We were friends sometimes, enemies other times, and something happened. I think we were playing basketball, and he started throwing punches. And all the punches he was throwing missed. And so I decided I was going to wait for the right opportunity. I was going to try to dodge his punches and wait for an opening. And eventually he dropped his left arm. I saw an opening and I tried to punch him in the face and I missed and I kind of glanced off the side of his head. But I took that as a win. I raised my hands, ha ha, I win, and I ran away. Now, I remember that being a very, very consciously driven fight. I was watching everything. I was trying to think about what to do next. If he does this, what do I do? If I do this, what's he going to do? And that was a very, very clumsy fight. Both of us were very, very clumsy, unbalanced fighters. Certainly, you can practice fighting. You can practice punches. You can do drills over and over again with various punches, and so you get to the point of unconscious competence. Boxing or fighting or martial arts is one of the things that you can train over and over and significantly improve your unconscious skills. William James, a philosopher and psychologist from the early 1900s, had a lot of interesting observations about the human mind. And one of them was that we have a ton of instincts. We come pre-programmed with a ton of instincts, but we can also learn a whole lot more. And when he said we can learn a whole lot more, he didn't mean learn things like the Battle of 1812 or anything like that. He was talking about we can train in new instincts. We can do drills. We can practice things to build in new skills at the level of unconscious competence. And whenever you take a skill, something that you don't know how to do, you start to learn how to do it, you do drills on that, you get better and better at doing this thing, and you train that skill down to the level of unconscious competence. That is essentially a new instinct. This is the capabilities that humans have. We come pre-programmed with a ton of instincts, and we can train in any instinct we want. We have the power, you have the power to become some superhero if you just train in the right instincts. Now, within the realm of instincts that we can train in brand new instincts like musical skills or sports skills. You can train yourself over and over again until playing a musical instrument is second nature, a second instinct, where you can close your eyes, hear some sound, and just replicate that sound on your instrument without needing to know where your fingers go or without needing to have any conscious awareness of what's going on. Or we can take a skill like defending yourself, something we kind of already have programmed into our brain, and just make it a much more deadlier skill, a much more higher level skill. We have these options. You can train in brand new instincts, or you can take existing instincts and make them much better. One instinct that we all have that not a lot of people think about with regards to how you can train this instinct to make it better is our language, our spoken language. Now, certainly reading and writing is not instinctive. It wasn't invented until about 5,000 years ago. And this goes through all four levels of learning: unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and then finally unconscious competence. But language, by the time we get to the age of 5 years old, spoken language is already unconscious competence. We speak without needing to think about it. But this is something that you can absolutely train to a much higher level of skill. Just imagine the difference between a boxer who has never trained in boxing versus a trained fighter. The difference would be enormous. This is the difference that you're capable of between the way people normally talk and how you can talk if you train in better language skills. Now, how do you do this? How do you train in better language skills? Well, the easiest way is image streaming. Close your eyes and describe what you see. Describe what you see as quickly as you can. Describe what you see as accurately as you can. And because the images will always change faster than your words are trying to catch up with them, you will always become a better speaker. You will always become more articulate. You will always become more charismatic, and you will always present yourself as being much more conversationally intelligent. But that's just image streaming. There's another set of practice exercises that you can do that can take your language levels to the next level, so you can be the trained fighter versus everybody who's using my third grade fighting skills metaphorically. I'm not saying you should punch people in the face with your language skills, but that's the difference that you'll enjoy. And so how do you do this? How do you train in these language patterns? Well, there's a collection of language patterns, the Milton model language patterns, the linguistic presupposition language patterns, and the sleight of mouth language patterns that you'll find in our book, Tong Fu. And if you drill these 3 language patterns every single day, it's just like drilling in different fighting moves. And eventually, you'll become better and better and better. And these are never-ending skills. Just like world-class athletes and world-class musicians will never stop training their skill set, you can never stop training your language set, which means your language skills compared to everybody else will always be getting better and better and better until you can't see the results anymore because they're so high out of the frame of the video. And this will make you talk to people unconsciously. Like when I was in 3rd grade, the way most people talk is we listen to what they say, we have to think about what they say, we have to think about how they're going to respond. Just like when I was in that 3rd grade fight, I had to watch his punches, I had to think about how to respond, and it was a very clumsy fight. This is how most people talk. It's a very clumsy conversation. We use a lot of ahs and ums, and we say things over and over again because we're not too sure of ourselves when we have conversations, particularly conversations with people that are important to us, like attractive people or people that might hire us and give us a lot of money. But when you train in these language patterns, you will become unconscious. Just like a boxer or a fighter can have a punch thrown at them and automatically respond without needing to think, that's how you'll have conversations with people. They will say something to you, you'll just say something right back without needing to think, and all you'll need is an underlying intention. And no matter what they say, you'll just throw it back, and you'll just roll the conversation towards your intention no matter what happens. You'll be able to reframe things in real time. When someone has an objection, you'll just overcome the objection and just keep on talking. You'll become much more funnier because reframing is essentially the backbone of comedy. And when you're in a conversation, after having practiced these language patterns, after having practiced the reframing language patterns, you'll hear somebody say something, you'll just reframe it, and everyone will laugh, and they'll think you're a superhero, a comedy genius. And there's a lot of benefits that you'll get when you make the decision. When you make the decision to continuously improve your language skills, to continuously drill in language patterns, to continuously improve your language instinct. And another thing that will happen is because you're no longer needing much of your conscious mind while you're talking to people, you will become much more outcome independent, which means you will become much more attractive. There's not a lot of things in the world that can give you as much return on investment as practicing these language patterns and practicing image streaming. 5 minutes a day of image streaming, 15, 20 minutes a day of practicing these language patterns, and you can continuously improve your language, improve how you can persuade people unconsciously by saying things without needing to think. Just have an intention, just roll with the conversation, and your outcome will just kind of poof, magically happen. Now, think of what your life could be a year from now. I know a year is a long time for a lot of people, but think of how your life could be a year from now if you made the decision today to practice language patterns, to practice reframing patterns, to practice image streaming every day. What will your social life look like? What will your career look like? What will your financial life look like? What will your romantic life look like? While everybody else is busily destroying their brain on social media, destroying their attention span by binge streaming whatever comes out on Netflix, by destroying their brain by having secret love affairs with ChatGPT, you can be increasing your language skills so your differential language skills versus everybody else's will get greater and greater and greater, and you can absolutely dominate every conversation. You can absolutely dominate your life. And all it takes is a decision today to start practicing language patterns. 15, 20 minutes per day is all it takes, and no other drills that you do to improve yourself can improve your life as much as learning to practice language patterns, making a decision to practice language patterns. This will have a massive benefit in all areas of your life. Even when you're just walking down the street and an idea pops in your head, because you will have practiced the reframing pattern so much, you'll just automatically reframe that idea in a cajillion different places. And that will make you much more creative than everybody you know, much more creative than you are before as you continuously become more creative moving into the future. So start today. Practice language patterns. Do these simple drills every day. Improve the way you speak to people. Improve how naturally you can persuade and seduce people, and make your life magnificent. If you'd like to learn more, check out the links below. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you next time.